Hello friends, it's Kristine Vicente with Queen City Stamp Art, and I'm back this week with another clean and simple card. This time we're going to be playing with a little fun fold that I'm going to walk you through step by step. We're going to be using some old product mixed with new product, and if you like this card, then make sure you stick around till the end because I'll tell you about a class registration I have coming up that uses these products in the class. So we're going to be starting off with the Plentiful Plants stamp set. We're going to be die cutting a couple of the plants, and we're going to be using an embossed panel using the Fern 3D embossing folder. This is a brand new embossing folder with the new annual catalog, and it has a gorgeous fern pattern that I thought would be perfect to pair with the plants. We're also going to be using some designer series paper, just a little bit, but some designer series paper from the Abigail Rose designer series paper collection. So we're going to be using this pattern because it goes with the gray granite cardstock that we're going to be using. And let's see, we're going to be using some of this gorgeous natural finish ribbon. This is part of that Abigail Rose suite. If you purchase the whole suite, you would get this ribbon as part of the suite contents. It's really, really pretty, and it goes great with these colors. Let's see. And then at the end, we're going to be adding some elegant gems and a little twine bow. So let's get started. Let's start this time with the stamping. So I have taken out all of the stamped images that we'll be needing, and we're going to be using Garden Green ink and Crumb Cake ink. Those are the two colors. So for the Garden Green, we're going to need to stamp and die cut some leaves for the front of our card. So I'm stamping Garden Green ink on mint macaron cardstock. I really like that color combination, and it's kind of fun for when you're doing plants because of the different greens. And then I'm using Crumb Cake for the little planter, and I'm going to stamp that on Crumb Cake cardstock. Now you'll see that I am using my Stampin' Pierce mat because I'm using photopolymer stamps. And when you use photopolymer, it's better to stamp with this under your project piece because you just get a much better impression. So for these two, I'm going to run these through my cut and emboss machine. And for the sake of time, I've already done that. And then these pieces are going to have the sentiment. So I like to stamp the sentiment before I put anything on my card. So we'll start by stamping the sentiment on this piece, and then we're going to stamp the inside panel of the card. So I'm going to take my planter again, and I'm going to do a little planter at the bottom of this panel. And then I'm going to take the bigger bunch of leaf foliage and stamp that here on top of the pot like that. And then this will go inside the card. And then this is the envelope, and I like to stamp the envelopes too. I don't often do that on camera, but I remember today, so we're going to decorate the envelope too, because that's always fun to get something in the mail that's already decorated. So we'll set those aside, and now we can move on to creating the little base card. So I'm going to pull in my trimmer, and I'm going to lay that in and make sure that's on camera. Okay, it is. So we're going to take a base card that measures 8.5 by 5.5. This is half a sheet of cardstock, and we're going to lay it into the trimmer on the with the long edge at the top, and we're going to score it at 1.5 inches with the scoring blade. And then we're going to slide it over to 5 3/4 inches and score it again. And that's all you have to do. 1.5, 5 3/4. Those are the two scoring marks. And I will put notes in the description of the video so you have all the measurements and everything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and crease the edges here. Just kind of fold them in. There we go. Forgot my bone folder. But what you really want is to make sure that the edges meet without overlapping. So these are overlapping a little bit, so I need to go get my bone folder so that we can give this a nice firm crease so that they match up. Oh, I guess I don't. I was able to do it with my fingers. So that looks good. And then we're going to take a strip of designer series paper and we're going to use some adhesive and just add this to the front flap here. And I'll give you the measurements for these pieces as well, so you can cut everything you need before you start making your card. So the little panel that we decorated with the embossing folder is really nice, and it lends itself to this clean and simple card. It creates, you know, a situation where we've got a little bit of extra texture, but not a lot of pattern, so it keeps it very, very clean. I'm going to put a bunch of adhesive on this because of the texture. I don't want it to fall apart. Just like this. Okay. Then we're going to take this panel and we're going to wrap this with some of that beautiful ribbon. So let me see here. I'm going to take a piece of this with my scissors. Set this aside, and we're just going to wrap this around the bottom section of this panel and glue it onto the back. And I also see that I'm missing a piece of cardstock, so I will be right back and grab that. I have my trimmer here, so I just have to cut this to 3 by 3. And then we're going to layer these together. So I'll add some more adhesive. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm using Seal Plus adhesive today, not my regular Stampin' Seal. The Seal Plus is a little bit better because it's just a little bit stronger. Normal card making, the regular seal adhesive is great for normal card making, but when I'm doing something special like a fun fold or adding some bulky ribbon, which isn't actually that bulky, but adding ribbon at all, I do like to make sure that I have enough adhesive. So for this panel, I'm just going to layer this onto the front of the card, but the tricky thing is making sure that you don't get adhesive on the back of this section, because I want this to, you know, I want to be able to open the card. And so I'm going to just put adhesive on this part of the back. And then what I like to do is add some to the front of the panel there. And now I'm just going to center this on the bottom section of the card. Just like this. And now I was able to do it so that it doesn't glue shut. So that's always a good thing. So let's put this panel on the inside. Like this, and then we'll add we'll add these pieces. So what I like to do is put this together. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the plant, on the back of the planter, and then I'm going to add the plant to it like this. Then I'm going to take some dimensional adhesive and add that to the back of the plant. And I'm going to get my snips here, and I'm just going to put a couple of little half pieces on some of these more narrow leaves. Like that. And then just remove the release papers. There we go. And then I'm going to add this to the front of the card. And I want to make sure I add it so that it doesn't overlap the words. There we go. So now it fits and the words fit too. And now just to embellish, so we're going to add a little bit of linen thread. I'm just going to make a bow out of thin air and trim up the ends. And then I'm going to add this to the planter with a glue dot. just like this. And then we'll add some of these beautiful, elegant faceted gems. Now, as I said, if you love this card, how this came out, I think it's really cute, then you will love my Plentiful Plants Fun Fold card class. And if you live anywhere in the United States, you'd be able to register for the class because it's a card class to go. So I do it in a YouTube video format where I send you a link to the video and some written tutorials. So you have all the measurements and kind of the card recipe, I call it. And I walk you through how to put the cards together. So I send you the kits. So we're doing 5 Fun Fold cards, completely different. Each one is different. And you'll get the pre-cut, pre-scored kit so I can show you how to put it together. And then we'll be decorating them in this kind of color palette or theme. And I think it's going to be a really fun class. So I hope that you will register. You can find out more about this class if you're interested by going to queencitystampart.com and clicking on the events tab. And there will be a link to the class registration there. So thank you so much for watching my video today. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this nice little gatefold. And like I said, I'll put all the details in the video description so you have them. And you can go ahead and try and make one of these cards on your own. Thanks so much for watching today. Take care.